Pick'em encourages people to watch games more because they're interested in the outcomes and they're like, oh well, I want to guess this, but I don't even know how the Titans plays. I've never watched his games, and you see it on, and you know what I mean. You think you want to watch it just to see, but also for those of us that already do watch games, which is probably the better part of the league, watches a game every advance or two. I don't know. It just adds a little bit for the same reason people like gambling in real life. You know, like it's a challenge. It's something to brag about, or to try to get better at, and I don't know. It's just
it's also a
good
matter
time.
of it's also a matter of blind luck because you just don't know what's going to happen every week. 'Cause some people
Oh
don't
yeah.
even know who these people are, right? You're kind of
No, some of them. Well, and that's why we put the confidence in there. So you
yeah.
pick for most people. I think most have participated in at least one of the weeks, but there's like a confidence rating, and that was largely because we wanted people to be able to say, "Am I guessing?" or like, "Am I very sure?" And then Jarrett really wanted it to be we drag and drop like 16 things like this Yahoo Pick'em he does.
Right.
And I started looking into what it would take to make that happen on the Google Forms, and I was like, sorry, bro, that ain't happening. I ain't a programmer. But
No, the system works well. I think it's set up perfectly. I don't think it's very labor intensive, and the fact, obviously not the design, but like actually to fill out the form is pretty much click 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 go down the form.
yeah, you don't have to work very hard to do it. Yeah, interesting pick'em fact. Jarrett posted this, but so the way for anybody that doesn't know, you pick a game and then you pick a multiplier, which is like your confidence rating. So if you're just guessing, it's 1. If you're super sure, it's 5. So you could, if you picked a game wrong and you said you were super sure, you missed 5 points, or you said it's a guess, you missed 1 point. 70 points were lost on the Vikings losing to the Packers. Every single person picked the Packers. The Vikings.
That's going to happen this week again because I noticed that only 18% of people picked me to beat the Vikings this week, and I'm going to show them wrong. That's my ultimate goal. I need to lose 70-something points this week as well. So,
yeah, well, you know what? It's saying something because I think coming off the Super Bowl championship, and he was really good last year.
Yeah.
People were pretty rightly expecting him to do really well, and the Vikings loss. I think that 18% would have been lower probably had he not just lost to the Packers.
Well, true. I think it also shows, going into the kind of our next conversation, which is a little bit of the parity we're seeing in the league already through one season. I really think that I don't think there's anybody in this league that is unbeatable. I think on any given day, I think people can be beat. I think there's some really talented people in this year. I think Ricky is obviously good with the Ravens. Jerm is very good with that.
Yes. Both very good.
The other one who's an obvious one that, he had to miss the playoffs last year and would have probably made noise with the Raiders because Josh is
I've heard he's very good. I've never played with him.
He's very disciplined. He doesn't do anything crazy on offense. He's really good at using on defense. So he's another solid guy. And so, I think there's a lot of kind of talented people. And I think it shows you just the changes from week to week. Now, again, here's another point. Again, look at the teams that are undefeated right now. The Seahawks, who are a brand new user, they're 3-0. You've got the Packers at 2-0. Who would have thought that coming in this season? The Saints are 2-0. And again, where were they going to be? They didn't win a game last year. I know they got new ownership this year. The Indianapolis Colts are atop the AFC South. They're 2-0. You got the Baltimore Ravens at 3-0. Nobody's surprised there. The Bills and the Patriots at 2-0. So it's kind of, I like the parity. I like the fact that people can turn it around in 1 year. Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't played a game. I'm trying to think of the last game I played where I was like, there's no way this is working out for me. Hey, maybe the Lions last year in week 5, but he was rolling at the time. And I've beat Emery in the past a couple times, so I feel good. And I think most of the games are coming out. Even some of the blowouts, those people turn around and blow other people out the next week.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody feels like they're a doormat at this point.
So now thinking about along the lines of what you've seen this season, if you had to pick 2 teams, either good or bad, who are your 2 biggest surprises so far through 2 or 3 games?
Oh, okay. So I don't know if the Packers surprises me, because I've played them a couple times, but beating the Vikings definitely surprised me. And he's just looked more comfortable. I don't know if a fast wide receiver is supposed to do that, but it seems to have like a little bit of a comfort blanket, forcing defenses to play off. I mean, that wide receiver once the combine dropped was all the rage. So everybody knows he exists. And then I don't know who the other one would be. I'm looking through the standings right here. Most of these are maybe the Colts. I don't know. The Colts hasn't lost yet, which is kind of surprising because
I played him week 1. Yeah,
and he didn't do anything. I watched a couple of his games last year, and I wasn't like, this guy's really good, but he seems solid. But he's looked good in the 2 games I've seen of his this year.
So his biggest thing, and I've played him too many times in the past to count. His big thing is when he doesn't play aggressive, when he doesn't try to throw the ball 50 yards downfield, play action, and do things. If he just literally settles down and gives what the defense gives him, he's a very tough person to play against. The problem is he wants to end up going big, and when he goes big, he ends up losing. So there were times last year where he showed that a little bit, and he beat some decent teams. But if he continues to play conservatively, and again, it's not the most exciting, he could win. He could win. He could win the division. It's not out of the question. I think there's.
Yeah, I think the Texans looked really good late last year and in the playoffs, but I played him early in the year. I thought, I mean, if it's not the Colts, I like the Texans in that division, but I think he's beatable.
And they're in trouble a little bit because the Texans are going to be, I think, I want to say 0-3 for sure, because the Texans don't get back until, I believe, November the 8th.
Oh, wow. So that's a little bit of a...
And same thing with Josh, right? Josh with the Raiders. He's got an 0-2 hole right now because he was waiting for some computer parts, so he had to wait for his new computer to come. Yes, he's got to find... and those early losses could hurt you. We saw how tight the AFC and the NFC playoff races were last year down the stretch. You missed out just barely.
Terrible. Yeah, I missed out because I blew 2 halftime leads against the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I blew. God, I'm still lamenting. Both my first 2 games this year, I lost inside the red zone, inside the final minute. I either threw a pick or missed a field goal or did something stupid. Yeah, but those early games matter. You know what though? At least as far as their morale goes, it's nice to be able to just say they were sim losses. I can brush them off.
Yeah.
Rather than you get to blame circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
So one team I got to talk about, you talked about it briefly before, kind of one of my surprise teams is the Detroit Lions. They're 1-2.
Yeah.
And they're on the bottom of that division. And all of a sudden with the Packers now looking good with this insane wide receiver with, 98 speed?
98 speed. Maxi Bartel looks like just a monster.
Just insane.
I mean, whether or not he's a monster, he's like the NFC's Tyreek now, I guess, and we're all have to deal with him.
And but just seeing the Lions in last is kind of unusual right now. Again, we're only 3 games in the season, so we'll see what happens long term.
And you know what? I mean, he beat the Chargers. The Chargers had him on the ropes till the fourth quarter of that game. So he could. He nutted up, made it happen, but could easily have been 0-3. So that is very surprising.
It is a very kind of we'll see how he responds. That division, all those division games are going to be so tough this year. So I really wonder what that's going to look like. That's a rough
division.
It is. It is a very rough division. It's one of those more challenging divisions. I want to get your take on probably the most, I don't want to say comical division, but probably the most amount of, I don't want to say trash talking either, because it's really just Bandit who talks out of the AFC East. He's got into it a few times with the Patriots. Brady kind of does his own thing. He's just kind of positive, guy in chat. He doesn't really do much. And Mike doesn't say much, but Mike is always around. So, I don't know. What do you think about the AFC East? Where do you think is...
Who's... Oh, yeah. That's how little Mike says. That's terrible. Mike is in the admin chat. And you're like, Mike doesn't say much. I'm thinking, who's Mike again? was literally like that's how quiet that guy is.
He is there. He is there. He is very active. He's just behind the scenes
Oh yeah.
active. So.
Oh yeah. No, he's online Discord right now. He just
Yeah.
ain't saying nothing.
He's lurking.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I really underestimated the Dolphins, and I kind of let them get the upper hand in our game because I was really like, AFC East, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
And he's very solid, like just controlled, good decision making. Most Madden players like to throw a pick. We destroy every interception record in the history of Madden because everybody throws picks, and I was shocked at how controlled he was in terms of just decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bills is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. He'll take the deep drops with the sacks and the spin sacks and fumbles and stuff, and he just trades it off because it's like, I'm just going to hit you deep eventually, And it seems like he's just so persistent with that.
Well, I feel like everybody's just investing this year in Josh Allen. They just want some of that Josh Allen.
Shut up and take my money.
He just feel like everybody wants a piece of that big arm, the big cannon.
I thought you were going to drop the, what does he call him, Big Dick Allen or something like that.
That's what he likes to call him. I think he's got about 100 nicknames for him. And
he does. He loves Josh Allen.
And I feel like it's a competition every week. I think who can post the most. I think in Discord chat between him, Jared, just every week are trying to push the envelope for the two of them. Who's going to do more?
Their fortitude for trolling each other is
next level. It's
elite.
And I'm still waiting for more people to get into it. It looks like the Cardinals are starting to get into it. The Colts have now started to get into it. So you've got a few teams that are starting to be more vocal, and I think it creates some fun little rivals. As long as people don't get, again, I don't like the personal attacks. I don't mind the team attacks. I don't mind the player attacks. I don't mind like attacking play style. I don't like the personal stuff. Like talking about the individual is just, I think, a little bit kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit immature, but it is what it is. But I like the trash talk that goes on.
I think there's a good amount of it that's good. Most of it is good. I think there's been a couple times where it's kind of bordered on. It seems like somebody is getting genuinely offended. That's
right.
Good, but I know that those two entertain most of us on a daily basis.
So I want to. So we've gone on for about 26 minutes of rambling.
Wow!
But it just flies by when you're having fun. Like this is one of those great nights.
This is the funnest night ever.
Right. So understand. I like that. I got to record
what adults do when they're having fun, right?
I have to record that and use that as a soundbite moving forward. I think I have to go back and get that, isolate that. So I'll get you out of here on this. I want to get the last part of our conversation together here. So if you had to look at, a very early kind of quick hot take, if you would, if you had to pick two teams that are going to make the playoffs this year that you maybe didn't make it last year, who are you going to pick?
Oh man! All right, hold on. Who was in the playoffs last year?
So last year we had
okay. These are easy. I know them. I know them for sure. The Patriots.
Yep.
Patriots was out last year and they're in, and I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as the other one.
Oh, he's gonna go local with that.
Controversial.
I like that.
Especially with the 0-2 start. It's a long road, but I haven't played a divisional game yet, so I'm going for it. What about you?
Okay. I'm gonna take the